It's your favorite family law attorney, Bonnie Roden, and I work with Roden Law Group in Brevard County. And today we're continuing our discussion about equitable distribution in Florida. And we're going to cover a few of the more complex areas of property division, how assets can be enhanced or depleted, uncovering hidden assets, and dividing retirement counts. Of course, handling business assets in divorce is always a big, complicated part of understanding what a fair division is. These topics can have a major impact on your future financial security. So let's dive in. So how do we enhance or deplete marital assets? During a marriage, assets can increase in value due to improvements, investments, or simply just market growth. But they can also be depleted, sometimes intentionally, either through reckless spending or what is considered financial misconduct. Courts do take these factors into account when deciding how to fairly divide the marital assets. So, let me give you an example. If one spouse used marital funds to renovate a property, that enhancement could and likely will affect how the asset is going to be divided. But on the flip side, if one spouse or the other wasted money on gambling, excessive shopping, an affair, the other spouse can argue that those funds should be accounted for in the division of the assets. Courts will look at whether the depletion was intentional and unfair. If you're concerned about protecting assets in your divorce, keeping detailed financial records is absolutely critical. Okay, hidden assets and financial disclosure. One of the biggest challenges in equitable distribution cases is when one spouse attempts to hide assets in order to avoid sharing them. This could be as simple as a transfer of money to a relative, or it could be as complex as underreporting income with a family-owned business. Florida law requires full financial disclosure, and failing to disclose assets can result in serious legal consequences. The courts do not like it when people are not forthright. Forensic accountants are experts that can be retained to uncover hidden accounts, find property or income sources. They can also be used to properly value a business and show how much personal income is being run as a business expense when in fact it really should be income. The idea in uncovering such expenses is not to report someone for tax evasion. It is to properly establish what the business owning spouse's income really is. If you're only claiming $36,000 a year in income because that's what you get in, say, W-2 income from a business, but in addition to that, you have owner's draws. But then on top of that, you run your personal expenses through the business, such as car insurance, cell phone bills, employing children in order to help defray the cost of college. Those can be listed as business expenses, but a forensic accountant will often testify that that is not actually a business expense. So it's important to raise this issue early on so that you can go either into the mediation process well informed, or if you aren't going to resolve in mediation, then that you start getting ready and get your forensic accountant on board. Forensic accountants are often $7,000 to $8,000 retainer to get started on a job. So this can be a very expensive expert to put on your team. All right, let's talk about retirement accounts. So retirement accounts, 401ks, pensions, IRAs, they're usually among the largest assets in a divorce, and dividing them can sometimes be a little tricky. In Florida, only the portion of a retirement account that is earned during the marriage is considered marital property. So any contributions that are made before the start of the marriage would not be included, and any of the deposits made after the separation or the date of filing would be excluded as well. A key tool that is used in the process of dividing retirement assets is a qualified domestic relations order. You sometimes will hear the acronym QUADRO, and that's what it means, qualified domestic relations order. This allows retirement accounts to be divided without triggering any type of tax penalty to either party. It's a highly technical process, and any small error in the preparation of that special order to divide the assets can cost thousands upon thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes or fees, or it may result in the asset not being able to be divided without going back to court. So make sure that in your process that your QUADRO is going to be prepared by an attorney who is experienced in preparing those types of orders. A family law attorney is not usually a specialist in that type of work. All right, so what do we do with a business in a divorce? If one or both spouses own a business, dividing that asset can be one of the most complicated aspects of equitable distribution. The more prepared you are going into mediation, the more likely it's going to be that you are prepared and ready to address the value of the business and the income. So, what are courts going to look at? The courts are going to look at whether the business is marital, how much is it worth, and how should it be divided. Here are some of the questions that will be asked. Was the business started during the marriage, or did it precede the marriage? Did both spouses contribute to the business financially, in some other type of way? Very often unpaid work by one spouse doing bookkeeping or administrative work. That does have a value, and it is accommodated for in this process. And what is the fair market of the business? How will it affect both parties after the divorce is finalized? Sometimes business valuation experts are necessary to assess the company's worth, especially if one spouse is trying to undervalue the business to avoid sharing its true value. Options for division may include a buyout, co-ownership, or selling the business entirely and splitting the proceeds. So, what should you do if you're facing a divorce with complex assets? If you have concerns about hidden assets, retirement account division, business ownership, it is crucial to seek experienced legal guidance in your area. Proper documentation, expert valuation, and careful planning can ensure a fair outcome for both parties. Here at Roden Law, we help clients from all over Brevard County, from Titusville through Melbourne Beach, Vieira, West Melbourne, Palm Bay, all the way down to the southern tip of our county. We are happy to provide complimentary consultations. You just need to reach out and either catch one of us when we're available to take your call right away, or you can ask for a time certain callback. Thanks for tuning in to this discussion on equitable distribution, part 2, here in Florida. In upcoming videos, I'll be covering how the courts will handle the marital home, the impact of alimony on asset division, and how prenuptial agreements affect property distribution. If you found this all helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss our next update. See you next time.